everyone, this is your friend and host Harry Nakai, and we welcome Mr. Tushar Bhutani on our show. Tushar, this is Friday back again, and we have various new questions which has come up by our clients, so we'll be discussing the same. So welcome on our show.
Thank you, Harry.
And how has been your week? Busy in selling?
Busy. Market still is as busy as it was in May, June, July. As I've said it time and again, March and April were really slow because of COVID. But since May, oh boy, like we've never slowed down.
So in the COVID situation, still the market is hot?
Oh well, yes. I mean, COVID is history. Even though yes, we still see the cases going up, but the fact that we've seen a good side of COVID, the way the real estate market has shaped up after April. From May, June, July, August, we're just seeing great numbers month after month.
So what do you think about this market, the real estate market scenario? How is it going from the last year to now? And is it going up in the coming months?
Well, right now, I can't say for the upcoming months. I mean, we'll see what we have in store in September, October. However, if you were to compare this with last year, definitely we've seen much better numbers. The fact that, we've got less options and more buyers, which is something that we haven't had for a while in the city of Edmonton. This is what we were waiting to see. The inventory has gone down, which means less options for buyers out there. If you're looking for something out there, you can't find a lot of options right now. You better go with something that's available, and if anything good pops up, it goes away like in a matter of a week or maybe days.
Yeah. So what is the reason of the inventory going down? Sorry to cut you, but just want to know this thing there, because I have heard about this thing that the developers are not developing the lots anymore. Most of them. So
yes.
So is that the reason that the inventory is more?
Well, that's something we'll eventually see next year as well.
Yeah.
That the inventory will just keep going down because we don't have a lot of land to work on, and I've had that from a lot of home builders as well, saying that right now, yes, they still have some areas that they're actually working on and kind of building homes on lots. But as of next year, we will see more numbers kind of going down.
Yeah.
But even right now, Harry, I would say the fact that March and April were slow. So typically a spring market would be starting like from mid-March, April, and it goes all the way till September. But this year we've had a short spring, and in that short spring we've actually done a business of about 5-6 months. So the fact that the interest rates went down, and of course with March, April being slow, people just came out in bundles starting May, and they were hungry because they were at home for about 2 months, and they kind of delayed their search for a home, or they delayed selling their home. So May, June, when things started to reopen, it was a fish market. Honestly,
even I've seen that the market, old houses are more in demand nowadays than going for new houses. Maybe the house prices are more, and even as you say, interest rate has gone down. So
yes,
the old houses which are there in the market, they are listed at the lower prices as well.
Yeah, a lot of it has to do also with the fact that newer homes, we don't have a lot of quick possessions. We did start, like if you were to go back in May, April, we still had a lot of quick possession options out there, but they're all gone. And the builders have not replaced them with newer inventory. They're still in the process of building those homes. So right now for newer homes, if somebody's looking for a quick possession, they can't find enough options out there. So all they have to do is to basically get into some kind of a resale. Well, I think brand new market and resale market kind of go hand in hand, right? So if a brand new inventory increases, the resale market would kind of slow down a little bit, and vice versa.
So what kind of customers are you having nowadays? If you talk about most of the customers, are you getting more of the investors, or are you getting the actual buyers nowadays?
No, I would say actual buyers too. A bit of both, but I would still say it's slightly more tilted towards buyers, first-time home buyers, or people wanting to upsize, downsize. So I've seen more people upsizing. The fact that the interest rates have been crazy low right now, and they continue to keep going down every month that we talk about them. Last month we were surprised that the interest rates went down to 1.99, and now I spoke to some brokers, it's gone down to about 1.89, 1.79, which is unheard of, right? Yeah. So I mean, not that everybody will get those interest rates. It all depends on your profile, on your credit score, and of course on all the other aspects that brokers and banks would look at. But the fact that interest rates are going down and people would feel that this is the time, why not just buy something, even if it's for an investment. But mostly, Harry, to answer your question, I would say I have most of my clientele right now, what I'm dealing with for this month and in the last few months, mostly been either first-time home buyers or people wanting to upsize more than downsize.
So when we talk about your listings now in the market, what kind of listings you have, what areas are there which you have listed, and how many listings are there in the market right now?
So listings, we've been busy. We are in the process of getting more and more listings out in the market because we've had homes sell in the month of July and June. So right now, yes, I mean, I've got a good mix of different homes, different neighborhoods, and I'm lucky in total I have about 20 to 21 listings right now in the market.
That's wonderful.
Which is good, is good. So the fact that, I'm also trying to make sure that I move them fast. No point sitting on those listings if they don't sell. It's more work for me, more expensive for me, right? To be able to keep those listings on the market. But the fact that, it all depends as to what you really pick in the market and what price point you're marketing the listing at. If you're really good at what you do and if you go about doing things in a certain way, you'll move those listings. And I have seen that a lot of my stuff does move and I'm able to replace them with new listings. So right now, as I said, I've got a good mix of like single family homes to duplexes to townhomes to condos to like luxury homes, $1 million listings too. So it all depends. I think if you really want to have a good mix of buyers and sellers, you really have to have enough listings out there, and you just don't have to cater to one market. You can be flexible in terms of what all areas you would serve in, and what all products that you would really bring out in the market.
So when we talk about market sales and listings about in the market, I would like to know: are you a typical salesperson, or do you also select your listings?
Now, honestly, that's a great question, Harry. I when I initially started the first couple of years in the business, I used to take anything what came my way because you're really wanting to just get going and be out in the market and get your name out there. But of late, I've started to feel that if you pick something for the sake of picking it, and putting it on the market and then just sitting on it for months, because every month we're sitting on a listing, it's costing us, and we don't get paid until we sell that house.
Absolutely.
So now I've come to a point wherein I can pick and choose what I really want to market and pick as my listing. But at the same time, my job is to disclose numbers to my sellers, sit down with them, explain them how the market is and what really they can get for a dollar value for their house, looking at how the market is and what condition their house is in. And at that point, it's up to the sellers what they really want to do. But I do educate them as much as I can in terms of what the market fair value could be for an asking price and what eventually could be a sold price. So, no point. I've seen some people out there that, they would list it for anything, which is okay. I mean, you have to agree. You have to go by, of course, what your seller says as well at times. But even if I have to do that, I would always put a condition in saying that, fine, we'll go by what you really want to price this house at in the beginning. But if for a month and a half, we don't get enough action, we don't get enough offers or enough showings, then we'll have to do a price amendment and then bring the price down.
Absolutely. So friends, see, Tushar has a lot of experience, and I think he's able to give you all the answers what you have asked for. I have another client of ours. His name is Ankit, and he has asked a question about the legal suite basements. We have some basements, like there are some houses which are the old houses which are like the codes were different and they were made in a different way at that time. Right? The codes are changing as well. So when we talk about the legal suite basement, what's the difference between a legal suite basement and a regular basement?
So, well, a legal basement suite is built to be able to generate some rental income out of it. And a legal suite, of course, has a lot of codes that you have to follow. Like, say, for example, you need a second furnace or you need electric baseboard heating, some kind of separate heating system to be able to, because it's a separate unit. So you literally have got a separate house underneath your house in the basement. You have to have its own kitchen, laundry, bedroom has a window. So there are a lot of codes that one needs to follow. Even when you apply for permits with the city of Edmonton for legal suite, you have to go through a process. It takes time. Recently, for one of my own investment properties, I've actually put in permits, and it's been about almost 2 months. I haven't heard back from city yet. So it is, you got to do it the right way and keep the timelines in mind. A legal suite, as I said, was more in the market right now to be able to rent it out and then get some extra income out of it. And it goes towards paying off your mortgage, right? So whereas a regular basement could be something that you're wanting to build for your own family, for your own use. You want to maybe have a small home theater system in the basement, or even have a small bedroom with a bathroom to be able to offer it to your guest. If you were to have some people from overseas or from out of town, you can actually have them stay down in the basement, right? So it all depends. I've had some clients in the past, Harry, they've asked me, well, okay, so if I'm not building legal suite, I'm just going to have the basement for my own self. Do I still need to go to the city and apply for permits? Well, of course, yes. You don't have to apply for a secondary suite permit, but you still have to go and pull permits for development, which could be plumbing, electrical, heating. So those things are really, really important. And that's what I've seen people are not aware of. They feel that, okay, if I'm not renting the basement out, I could do whatever I can in the basement. Well, that's not the case. You still have to go to the city, apply for development permits, as I said, heating, plumbing, and the other stuff. And because, if, for example, and I have spoken about this with my clients in the past as well, that if something was to go wrong, God forbid, your insurance can literally pull out of your basement development, irrespective of if you have it as a legal suite or your own family use, they would not provide the coverage.
So when we come to the same similar situations, does the city also charging the fine if it's not a legal suite and somebody is already renting his basement suite?
Yes, if they find out. Yes, surely. And the fact that you can be having a stove in the basement.
Okay.
Right. Any kind of stove in the basement if it's not a legal suite permit. You're allowed to have a bar. A bar can have like a small pantry with a bar fridge, a sink, but that's about it.
Because I might be wrong, but few months back I was discussing with one of the builders as well.
Right.
So because there was no fine before, I don't know whether the city has laid a fine now, but I remember like few months back when we were talking about, there was no fine. City might say that you have a legal suite, you don't have a legal suite basement, still you have rented it, but there was no fine at that time. So I don't know whether the fine is still there or not, and how.
Well, I don't know exactly what the fine is. I haven't come across anybody who have said that they've been penalized. Absolutely. But the fact that when they give you warnings, if they find out, they'll of course give you a warning, and if it's not fixed, I'm pretty sure the fine print, if you go on the City of Edmonton website, if they were to find out that you have a stove in the basement and it's not permitted, you don't have permits pulled for it, there is an option that City of Edmonton can penalize you for it. I don't know exactly what that amount is and how they're going to fine it, but yes, the fine print says that yes, you could be penalized if, for example, you've got something, not just a stove, anything illegal in the basement that's not been approved. Okay. If they find out later on, they of course have some charges that they can actually put on the homeowner.
Because generally it happens in the old houses, which maybe some houses are 30, 40 years old or 20 years old. They have basements, but they were not legal suite basements. So they might not have those codes which are there today. Right?
Yes.
So when we talk about, I've come across some basements which has small windows which does not meet egress. So egress window is the fire exit, if I'm not wrong.
That's right.
So if those codes are not there in the old houses, but those codes have to be there in the new houses. So at that time, what is the scenario at that time?
Well, older homes, when we do inspections, of course, they do not meet the current development codes that we've got out in the market for newer homes. And the explanation that we give to our clients is, of course, that they were built back in 85, 90, 75, 95. So, of course, they do not meet the current codes right now, what we've got out there. However, if you do get into any kind of renovation, or if you were to cut the whole basement out and start putting some more work into it, at that point, you better follow the codes. Yeah, you have to. I mean, if you're putting the money into it, might as well go with what the latest codes are. Because these codes, of course, we all know, they do change every few years. So if you're updating the house, if you're doing some kind of renovation, you might as well update the code as well.
So friends, this question was there from one of our clients. So this was a very important question, because if somebody is buying an investment property or buying a property which is an old property and does not meet the codes does not apply for those houses till the time they don't do the renovation, right?
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
And there is another question which is from one of our clients. His name is Payanshu Thapar. He has given us a question saying, and it's very, very important question, and I'm like, I don't know, how will you take that question? Okay. But the question is like, is it good to get the basement done by the builder or by a private contractor?
Well, it all depends. Good question. Yes. It all depends as to what your current financial situation is. I mean, technically, yes, if you've got some cash in hand, or if you've got some resources like some line of credits or some money kept aside, of course, it's better if you do it yourself. And I'm not saying builders do it the right way. They do it as per what the codes are. And of course, getting it done through a builder would, of course, add some value as well to your home if you were to put it back on the market a few years down the road. However, keep in mind that builders, if they were to get the trades in to do a basement suite for you guys, they would, of course, charge a little bit of extra. They're not working for free, right? They just want to make sure they're making some money on that too. And the fact that, when builders would give you an estimate for building a suite into an existing home or something that they're building from scratch, typically it's about 30 to 40% more than what you really can get it done yourself.
But like the advantage from going through a builder might be that it can be adjusted in your mortgage. Otherwise, you have to pay from your pocket.
Yes, that's the reason I pointed out that it all depends on your current financial situation. If you don't have that extra cash in hand, or you feel that no, you can after giving the down payment, you don't have enough money kept aside to be able to build a suite. Yes, of course, put it into the mortgage, get the builder, even though it might be a little expensive for the builder to do it for you. But the fact that it's added onto your mortgage and you're not having to pay it up front. And also one very important thing, Harry, is the fact that when builder, there's a reason why builders would of course charge you a little extra. The fact that they also have to warranty the basement work as well. Just like what they're doing as far as the house is concerned, your main floor, your upstairs, your exterior, your roof. Builder, if the builder is actually doing the basement work for you, either a finished basement or a legal suite, they also have to provide the same warranty what they're doing on the house in the basement as well. Right? So if anything goes wrong, say 6 months down the road, 7 months down the road, the builder is still responsible for it. And one of their crews have to come back and fix it. So there are pros, there are cons, right? It all depends as to what you really, really want to, look into it.
So definitely it means like if you are getting the basement done by yourself, the biggest problem which you're going to face is like you might get the warranty void.
In
case something happens.
In case of, not the builder's warranty. I mean, as long as you're not playing with the structure.
Yes.
Inside, in the basement, you could possibly do whatever you can, and it doesn't void the warranty of the house as long as you're not playing with the outside structure of the house, like the foundation. But, even when you do it yourself, like when we talk about doing the basement yourself, it doesn't mean that you would start putting the framing by yourself or, buying some trades, buying some tools from the market, and then doing it yourself. You still have to get a third-party contractor to come by and do it for you, which in the process would save you some money. But at the same time, keep in mind that you would be in charge, and then you would have to come down, make inspections, and just make sure the time is that the work is being done on time.
So Tushar, as per the market situation, how does legal suite helps in mortgage qualification?
It does surely help. The fact that, the rental income out of that suite, if say like banks would look at your property, if your property has a legal suite, or if the builder is going to put one into your house, the one that you're building, they can actually use the rental income as a part of your income and assess you accordingly.
Okay.
So the fact that, say for example, if a basement suite has an income potential of about say $1,100 or $950,000, right? So that $1,000 into 12 for the whole year makes it about $12,000. So your income, if you were sitting at about $60,000 a year, just for yourself, and maybe your partner will have additional 30-40K, you can top that up by another 12K for the rental. So yes, definitely the fact that the suite income is something banks would qualify that as a part of your income. If you've developed a basement just for your own use, and if you're still getting some rental income out of it, that's not something the banks will use.
So I will say, like as per our conversation, that it's better to get a legal suite basement done once you're getting a new house, because it's first of all, it's adjusted in your mortgage. Secondly, you are getting the rental income as well. So if you're spending 30,000-40,000 more on a legal suite, but you're getting $1,000 or $1,100 from getting the rent out of it, it's always better for you.
You can say that it brings up your qualification, and the fact that you can start having rental income from day one. The day you take possession of your property, the day you move in, you can start marketing it for rent. And depending on what location you're in, if you're at a good location rental wise, you could possibly even even have that rented out in a matter of 15, 20 days.
Absolutely.
So your rental income can start right away, because otherwise if you were to do it yourself, you have to go through a period of about 3-4 months before you can literally start having some income potential. But the fact on the bank side, coming back to the bank side, Harry, yes, it does help your qualification. If you're slightly limited in terms of what you can really qualify for through the bank based on your current income, having a suite in the basement in that house does improve your chances of going up the numbers.
So Tushar, me and Hunny, Walia, we were sitting together and we were discussing about this thing, that what kind of questions come in place when you're meeting your buyers. So what are the common questions in the market once you are meeting the buyers, and what they want to ask when they come to you actually?
Most common question I as a realtor when I meet my friends and family or any of my clients out there is the fact that how is real estate market shaping up? Right? So we of course go by whatever we've seen in the past and what we see right now in the current market, the way things have been going. And a lot of buyers and sellers would also ask me, is this a good time to sell, Tushar? Is it a good time to buy? Now, you know what, that question is something that it's simple. I mean, it all depends on your situation, why you're wanting to sell. If you're wanting to sell to upsize, your family is growing and you need more space in your house, well, as long as you kind of follow the market trends, if you're putting your house in the market and you're asking about the market rate, what buyers are willing to pay for a house like that in the market, yes, definitely it's a good time, right? It all depends what your expectations are and what the reality is. So it has to match.
So there's one question, Tushar, I want to ask you. This is a personal question, that if a buyer is coming to you and he wants to buy a house, do you study about that property before you answer any questions to him?
Yes. So if there is a client of mine and they found a property and they sent the listing ID to me saying that, Tushar, we need some information on it, we need to go and schedule a showing. So yes, of course, before we even go and look at it, I would just pull the MLS sheet, try to get some information as to what the history is, in terms of the price points, where they've been sitting in the past and what they're asking now. A lot of times realtors, when they list properties, they would input some information on private remarks, which is not seen in the public, which public can see those on the listing portals, right, on the websites. So we of course go through that information, that if there is anything which we need to disclose to the buyers or anything that my client, before they even go into the property, should be aware of, I would do some research on it. And the fact that, even when we see the house, if the clients like it, even before we figure out what the offer price could be, we do a bit of search to find out what the city assessment is, what the trend is in that neighborhood, what the other buyers in the last 3-6 months have paid for a house like that. Because typically that's the first thing any realtor would do, is to pull some comps out in the market and see what the value is right now and what buyers are paying for a property like that in that neighborhood.
So that study is making you one of the top realtors.
Well, no, it's the analysis, right? So you find those numbers out, and then it all depends the way you take it to your client. Even if those numbers could be a little disheartening for your buyer, because they're like, no, I wasn't hoping to go that high. But the fact that, if a seller is out in the market, if they're expecting a certain price and the market comps in that neighborhood would suggest that they're okay in terms of their asking price, we could still try to negotiate for you. I mean, we'll still do our best. We'll put in the efforts to be able to make sure we can bring the price down a bit and then help the buyer in the end. But, it all depends on the sellers. Some sellers would be really motivated and they have some kind of timelines to meet. They would drop down the price and then get it going. But some sellers would stick on their price point. Even in a tough market, when there's a recession going on, it's a buyer's market, I've come across a lot of sellers wherein they would say, well, yes, I understand my house is not worth what I'm asking for, but I cannot be selling it at a lower price point. I have to pay my own stuff. I have to pay some loans that I have on this property. So it all depends. But we do a lot of research when we put an offer on a property. Not that, we'll just come back, write the offer, send it over. Of course, we go through a lot of the due diligence. We do that stuff on our on our own system, and it all depends as to how you put it to your client and how your clients would react to it. And if they agree, that you're the salesman in the end, right? So you have to be able to convince your clients in their best interest, whatever works for it.
And friends, before we wind up the session, Tushar, any message for your clients?
Great time to buy. Interest rates are super low. So if you are thinking of either investment or buying something for yourself, downsizing, upsizing, this is a good market. COVID impacted the market initially in the beginning, and since May we've been really, really good. Market is growing, we're seeing aggressive numbers month after month, especially with interest rates maybe going down more in the next coming months. So keep an eye out, and if there are still a lot of good deals to be found. And if there's anything I can assist you with, give me a shout, please.
So friends, Tushar's information is down below. Please give a call to Tushar, and he would be really glad to answer your questions. Definitely, we have a lot of questions which are coming up, and in the next session on next Friday, Tushar will be back again. If you have any questions, please let us know, and we'll ask the same question to Tushar. Thank you, Tushar, for coming on our show.
Thank you, Harry. Thank you for having me again.